Well, let's jump into the next topic, and that is the Western Conference Finals preview. We have the Houston Rockets taking on the Golden State Warriors.
Some say the real championship.
I was about to say a matchup no one ever expected. I doubt anyone believed these two teams would make it to the Western Conference Finals.
Very special.
Yeah, very, very important that these two teams, two underdogs, made it to the Western Conference Finals, and we were very excited for this matchup. Obviously, we know the story. We know what's going on. These are the two super teams right now in the NBA. Obviously, Cleveland has LeBron James, but I mean, these two teams have been absolutely dominant over the past couple of years in the NBA, and especially this year. The Rockets just came out and showed that they were unstoppable with Chris Paul, James Harden, Clint Capella when they were all on the court. Even when they were off the court, they were still dominant. And we know the Warriors, what they can bring when healthy. Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, also Andre Iguodala, and Sean Livingston. I can't split them apart anymore.
Just say Chandra Livingdala.
Chandra Livingdala. It's way easier. It rolls off the tongue. We know what these two teams can bring. Steve Kerr versus Mike D'Antoni. What is going to be the biggest key for the Rockets in this one? Because they are pretty much the underdog, even though they had the better record. I mean, this is a team that hasn't won two straight championships, right? No, one straight championship, and then two in the past 3 years. I always forget about the
one straight championship is not
one straight championship.
That's a new one to me.
I always feel like it's been 2 years. Like it's felt so long since the 3-1 comeback.
For me, the key for this Rockets team is all about pace and space. Like that's their goal. That's what they've done. They built a team of wing players, surrounded Chris Paul and James Harden with a bunch of fantastically versatile wings who can shoot the three, who can play now a little bit of mid-range, and then excellent finishing skills. The thing that kind of scares me is James Harden really struggled from the three-point line against the Jazz. In those last 3 games, 1 of 7, 1 of 7, 2 of 8. Really starting to make me a little concerned because, yes, he was never a knockdown three-point shooter. He was a league average kind of guy, which he's not shooting right now. So that's a bit concerning to me because if he can be shut down by worse defenders, I'm going to be honest, then
he can get shut down by Clay and KD.
Yeah, that Clay, KD, even Steph.
Or Andre Iguodala. Well, I mean,
yeah.
And the stat that I got this from Get Up today, during the entire season, and I might be a little off, but you'll get the point, against Steph this year when it was Rockets-Warriors, Harden was like 4 of 8, so 500. The rest of the team combined was 2 of 13 from beyond the arc.
Yeah, I mean, that team locks down defense. And so for me, it's Harden needs to be on it. Like, the Rockets can only win this if they get James Harden actually playing at the full level he should be, at the MVP level that we expect him. Because Chris Paul bailed his ass out in this last series. Like this.
Well, Chris Paul didn't want to go home after round 2 again.
He was
after being up 3-1, he goes, we know how this shit turns out. We're going to win this.
I mean, one thing, though, and I think, Ricky, you just brought it up, but against Golden State in the 2 games that James Harden did play, shot 46% from the field, 50% from 3. He did have a rough time from the free throw line, 66.7%, but he averaged around 24.5 points per game, 9.5 assists, and 4 rebounds. So he has had success this year against Golden State, James Harden has. So he needs to continue that success. But like you mentioned, he had a rough go against the Jazz. Ricky, again, do you think that Chris Paul will take enough off of James Harden to open him up on the outside?
I feel like he might. It'll be interesting how the Warriors play their defensive pairings. But for me, it has nothing to do with the players on the actual court. The best friend to the Rockets is that they have home court advantage.
Really?
Think about it. For the first time in this Warrior dynasty, they don't have home court in the Western Conference playoffs. This is the first time we will see a Warriors team game 1 on the road. If this was like, and I totally agree with, I think it was Jalen Rose who said it on Get Up this morning. He said, if this game 1 was in Golden State, he's like, I'd be picking a 4-0 sweep for the Warriors.
Yeah.
But just because the first 2 are in Houston, that is something Houston can come in, get that crowd behind them. They steal a game 1, they steal a game 2, and I'm saying steal because
it's to me, home court, you're stealing it.
Well, and really, it's because if you lose one of those games, the Warriors flipped home court right back. So, like, then it plays into a thing where the Rockets, do you have to jump out 0-2? Because, hey, if the Warriors win one of these at home, well, they just took home court back, and you could lose it in then 6.
Do you think they need to jump out right away?
I think they need to. I think game 1 is incredibly pivotal. I agree with Jalen and Ricky. I think that
to Get Up podcast.
Look, can we just agree that Get Up is the best thing to happen to ESPN in a long time?
I love it.
It's fantastic.
I haven't watched.
It's really good.
I'm not up
Beetle,
that early.
it's Greeny, and it's fucking Jalen Rose.
I'm not getting up that early.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
don't have a job. I don't have school. I'm not getting up that early.
We love them.
It's called YouTube, Sean.
I think Jalen loves us. I'm just gonna toss
Jalen's a
out
huge
there.
fan. For the podcast,
He might have a T-shirt.
he does. Big fan.
But I think it's incredibly critical because honestly, after Steph Curry returned to that Golden State team, like it took me about 30 seconds to realize, oh fuck. Like I didn't forget how good he was. I forgot how good the team moved with him on the court. Because it's just different. It's just something no other team does.
Going back to listening to our Pelicans Warrior podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And
I was optimistic.
No, you were optimistic, but me and my while I'm watching it, my shit-eating grin, I was spot on. The only time in history that I was almost completely spot on.
Good for you, Ricky.
The only thing I got wrong is I said 3 wins, 1 loss, and then a win. It was 2-1-2.
I think he also guaranteed that Steph would play game 1.
Yeah, but he didn't.
Yeah,
I still won.
He did not. But point being, it's going to be incredibly hard. But Chris Paul is the guy you want to guard Steph. If anyone can slow him down, Chris Paul is. He's been the ultimate point guard for the last decade plus.
But what if they roll with the Hampton 5, Dave?
I love the nickname. Can I just say that? I love the Hampton 5 nickname.
Remember,
I think
Steve
it's
Kerr
hilarious.
didn't come up with it. The media guys did.
The media guys did, and they were right to do so. It's hilarious.
Well, let's bring it back because when James Harden was on the floor, Houston was undefeated. They were 2-0 against Golden State. The one game he didn't play, they did lose by 10 points. So how much are you going to be taking in the regular season games into account of what happened? Because, I mean, again, you were saying 0, but again, this is when they were going up full strength. Steph played in the last game that they did have, played 36 minutes. Kevin Durant played 35. Draymond played 35. Clay played 36. Same with Chris Paul, James Harden, Clint Capella, and even Trevor Ariza didn't play. Gerald Green didn't play. So, I mean...
They went easy on them.
And they still won. Yeah, I mean, they still won 116-108, and that was in Houston. Are you going to take in any
Sean,
of that?
this is going to sound really mean. I don't mean anything against you. You just wasted a lot of oxygen there. Because the reason why we look at this Warrior team, first off, after they won the 70-whatever games, they realized the regular season don't matter.
Whatever. No respect to the team that beat out the Bulls.
I can't remember
I mean, this
the
is
73, right?
But in that point, real quick, in that game...
But no, the last point is, this was a team that... We looked in the regular season, wow, they look so disinterested. What's going to happen? Oh, shit, they turned it on for the playoffs. That's why the regular season,
they have lost 2 games in the playoffs, which is 2 more games than they lost last year.
No, they have, but overall, have you not seen a much more focused Warrior team in the playoff compared to what we were talking about in the regular season?
Regular season, yes.
Regular season, we were hearing, oh, does this team even care? How are they going to do in the playoffs? And then they jump out 3-0. They jump out 2-0 against the Pelicans.
But that's the thing is, I mean, even at that point in the season, on January 20th, which was the last matchup that they had, or one of the last matchups, I think that was the last matchup they had. The last matchup they had, Golden State still had the lead on them. They were 37-10 to compared to 32-12, and then that started a 2-game win streak, but then balled into a 4-game win streak. Then they lost into New Orleans, and then they had that record-setting run where they won 17 straight, 18 straight, something like that. I mean, that was really what sparked that lead now for Houston. So I mean, that was something where that was a pivotal game. That's where Golden State needed to care.
It's a bigger
and they
deal
went out
for
and lost.
Houston. It's a bigger deal for Houston than it is Golden State.
Doesn't that at least give them momentum and confidence that hey, we beat these guys?
I think confidence
2-0
is there, yeah.
when we were fully healthy, and we beat them to start our run to take home court advantage. And even that game back on January 20th, that was in Houston. And this is going to be a fired-up Houston crowd that, again, has the momentum on their side for beating Golden State 2 times in the regular season. I think you have to take it into account a little bit. Maybe you don't take exactly what happened in those games, but at least the outcomes, because, again, that outcome lead to a ton of confidence. Yeah. How much do you think confidence is going to play into this, Dave?
Massively, because that's one of the killer things. Like, I think they go in knowing that, yes, we're going up against the world champs. Yes, you have to respect the hell out of the Golden State Warriors, but at the same time, you can't be afraid of them. You can't play cautiously against this Golden State team because they're a team that can just turn it on a dime and wreck your season, wreck your game, wreck your series, like everything over. Because what they have is so incredibly unique. Being able to roll out 4 All-Stars, you can't take that for granted. You have to play aggressive. You have to play your style of basketball that you've been doing all year. I think if they get worried and get too wrapped up in matchups and everything, that's their downfall. This is a team that plays best when they're rolling hot, when they're going in and taking shots with 19 seconds left on the shot clock, because guess what? That's what got them here. Play the game that got you here. Don't make too many adjustments. based off of perceived, cautions.
The one thing, though, I do want to throw out there is because I think last year what played so much into Golden State's success was the confidence they had and the idea that they weren't going to lose to anybody. And you look at that first game against Cleveland, where Kevin Durant comes out and scores 38 points, shoots 53% from three, 50% from 50% from three, 53% from the field, and beats LeBron James. And takes game one. Having that confidence just led to the role that Golden State went on. And I think having confidence against Golden State is going to be something massive. It's not saying that LeBron didn't, but again, there had to be some fear or some hesitation saying, all right, we're going up against a team that we had to fight and claw back from last year, and they just added Kevin Durant, who's pretty much the second best player in the league right behind me. And Kevin Durant comes out and pops off and outscores LeBron in game one. I think that has to be massive, and confidence really dictated the way that Golden State dominated Cleveland last year. I think to pull off something like this, Houston, they need to have more confidence than Golden State. And the way that Golden State has been running, Steph not being 100%, not having that great of a regular season, being tired, being drained, has to play into this a ton.
Is it a 4-game sweep? No. However,
of course
to me,
not. I'm not saying a 4-game sweep.
I'm not saying you are. Just let me
Ricky,
go through
Prophet
the point.
Ricky over here.
So it's not going to be a 4-game sweep. However, the thing that I go into, and Dave kind of mentioned it with confidence, is I think of overall just Warriors or Rockets. That's all I want to hear right now. Is who's got more pressure on them, the Warriors or the Rockets?
Warriors do.
See, I would say different. And I would say the Rockets only because this series is different. Your GM resurrected this team, created this team with one goal in mind, to beat the Warriors.
But also, this is their first shot to do so.
Still, that's even more pressure.
See, that's where I think, real quick.
That to me is where if the Rockets are going to fail in this series, that's where they're going to fail. They're going to succumb to the pressure because every time we're sitting there going, this is the only team that can beat. This is the team, the NBA Finals. This is the team that's going to knock out the Warriors. This is the best shot. The GM put together this team to beat the Warriors. And if the Warriors come out game one and knock them in the mouth, the Rockets are going to take a step back and go, whoa, what's going on here?
But again, the game one might be a wake-up call for them, but then that just makes game two much more pivotal. And again, Dave said that game one's going to be massive. But I think if you look at Toronto and Cleveland, this is something that's a game plan. Toronto came into this year planning to beat LeBron James, planning to stop LeBron James. But that was after years of failure against LeBron James. They haven't had the shot against Golden State in the playoffs to say, hey, we know what to do. We have everything to beat them. We don't know if Houston has everything to beat them. We think they do. They've proven it during the regular season. But again, like you've mentioned, the playoffs is a different monster. This is something that is going to show how close Houston is to beating or being able to beat Golden State. Maybe Houston surprises Golden State and shows him, hey, we're better than you. But I think this is going to, real quick, I think this is going to be more important to see where Houston is at as a franchise. I don't think this is going to say, if Houston loses it, this season was a massive failure. This just shows that this is giving you the blueprint of how to beat Golden State. I don't think this is too pivotal of where Daryl Morey is going to be a failure if he loses this series.
You're thinking long term. I'm thinking just this series. Like this year is the only year that matters. I'm not going on a DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry. Can't remember which JD Dinosaur said it. It's not going to be like we lost to the Warriors. It's a wasted series. But there's a lot of things for the Rockets coming in. The fact that, there's a little pressure on us because our GM put together this team with one goal in mind, to beat the Warriors. Also, James Harden. All right, you're going up against this team for the first time on the biggest stage in the Western Conference Finals. And then with CP3, all right, you got over the hump. You're out of the second round. Now how are you going to perform now that you're in the Western Conference Finals? A ton of questions for the Rockets. Where the Warriors, I think it's going to be a lot more of just them going with the flow, going with their game, and not feeling the pressure.
I'm just going to go back and we'll go to Dave. The one thing that I just want to throw out there is, again, this is the first time Daryl Morey's squad is going up against Golden State in the playoffs.
And that's great for long term.
But what have we been talking about? But right now, again, this is showing you where you are at. And again, if you're looking at it short term, this is just a benchmark to prove where you are at to beating Golden State. What are we talking about after the season? Where is LeBron James going to go? If Houston takes them to 7 games and it's a tight 7 games, hey, what's the one piece we need to take down Golden State? it could be the best player in the NBA in LeBron James. So I think that this isn't too critical to Houston's success. Again, if they lose this series, and we're going to Dave, so you can't retort on this. You can't fucking interrupt me. I know we love doing that. But again, this is just giving them a benchmark of where they are to beating Golden State. I don't think the only way this is a failure of a season is if you get swept and destroyed by Golden State.
Yeah, I see your point as far as the pressure is concerned. I think the whole joke about we built this team to beat this team, like it's just not true. They built a team to win a championship. Do they understand who's in the way? Yes. Do they understand what that team can put out there? Yes. Sean's like got a shit-eating grin.
No, and that's
wait. I want David to finish the spot, but I just want to say we built this team on CP3. Okay, sorry.
So when it comes down to it, this is still a team that everyone has as an underdog. So how do they have more pressure on them as an underdog where everyone's like, we'd be surprised if they took a couple games off this team? No. They've already hit. The expectation was we're going to face against the Golden State Warriors in the conference conference championship, whatever. Like, that's where it's going down. I think that Golden State has a lot to prove because if they can't successfully defend this from the Rockets, then what happens? Because you've got a lot of contract situations over there. You've got a lot of future concerns. You've got a lot of players who want, well, we turned down for that one series, but then like the Rockets kind of surprised us and took something off us. Like, that totally sets up some cracks in their armor. Like, it makes you start to think that, like, well, they're a super team, yes, but does that mean you can just slap together 3 All-Stars or 4 All-Stars and just roll your way to the finals?
A similar question I would ask is, who's got more pressure on the Eastern Conference side, the Cavs or the Celtics?
Which one's got
the Cavs?
I would say the Celtics have more.
No, the Cavs do. This is LeBron James.
Well, and that's why you have the best player in. Like
the Celtics are saying, "Hey, we still have 2 stars coming back next year. Like, we're healthy. We're the youngest team in the playoffs."
This is what I was going to retort. You're thinking I like it. You're thinking very forward thinking. I am thinking just cut off. Don't even think about the future. Think just about this series. That's all I'm thinking about.
Well, you got to think about it in the aspect. If you're just saying in this series, there's no one team has more pressure than the other because the whole goal is to win. So no team has more pressure to win because
I'm saying
they should be equal.
See, no, and that's where I'm disagreeing. I think that the team that has more pressure to win it
is the underdog.
Is the Rockets. Exactly.
How does the underdog have more pressure?
Because
the favorite needs to live up.
Yes.
The
favorite has the expectation to win.
But I'm telling you look at how the Warriors think of things. The Warriors have never been that team that comes in and goes, oh, we're the favorite, we're going to feel pressured. But they make other teams come in and, oh, crap, we got to live up. Can we live up to this under? Kind of like what Dave was saying where, yeah, you can't come in and fear the Warriors, but they kind of have this not holier than thou, but it's kind of like when you play LeBron James. Look what happened to the Raptors. They crumbled under the pressure. What Rockets are we going to see? A team that comes and punches them in the face or crumbles under the pressure?
Again, you're taking it out of context. The reason why there was so much pressure on Toronto was because they kept losing to LeBron James.
I get their different situations, but there's still to me more pressure on the Rockets.
And in every underdog movie, what's the whole narrative? No one expected us to be here, so go out and play. Go out and be yourself.
But this,
we got here on what we know. And so there's no pressure to win because if we lose, no one expected us to be here.
And that's
it's already
where I
a win.
think you guys are wrong. The whole thing where you keep saying no one expected us to be here. There are people at the beginning of the season thought these two teams would meet here.
Yes,
there are people
to
like
win.
Dave sitting next to me that have picked the Rockets to beat the Warriors since the beginning. So to me, I feel like this has been more split.
If Houston if Houston loses, will you be shocked?
No.
But the whole time he's like, I'm saying like when we've come down to picks.
It literally took me 3 minutes of watching Steph Curry to say Golden State's going to win this one. Like, I don't know what. So, like, yes, since the beginning of the year, I was like, this team is built to do it.
Again, we got to get away from this topic. But I think the thing is, this is more of a benchmark for Houston, where this might be Golden State's, weirdly enough, last shot with these 4 players to win this. So that's why I think there's more pressure on Golden State, because this is their last shot to do it, possibly with Draymond, Clay, and Steph. And we got to go to
KD.
Predictions and KD. We got to go predictions. So sorry, we can't get that in. But we got to go to how the Warriors will win, how the Rockets will win, and an X factor. We'll go to you. So how will the Rockets win? How will Golden State win? And what's the biggest X factor? In the
James
series?
Harden and CP3 for the Rockets, and then for the Warriors, it's just play their ball. Like Dave was saying, when Steph Curry's out there, the way they move the ball, find the open shot. Like, they got to play Warrior basketball. I know that sounds cliche, but that's what it's got to be. And Harden and CP3 got to show up if the Rockets want to win.
Biggest X factor?
Biggest X factor, James Harden. If he doesn't show up, they lose. If he balls out, then they got a chance.
David, what does Golden State need to do to win? What does Houston need to do to win? And then the X factor.
Golden State needs to play through KD and Steph, use those two, knock out everybody else. I mean, Draymond's been impressive as hell this last series, and I think he continues to do so against a smaller Rockets lineup. And on the other side, you got to lock down with CP3 and Harden. If Harden limits the turnovers, keep the ball in CP3's hands as much as possible, turn Harden back into that shooting guard, secondary ball handler, so he can worry about focusing in on his three-point shots because he has been inaccurate as hell as of late. He needs to fix that. So my X factor, CP3, 100% on the Rockets side. And on the Warriors side, I'm going to give it to Draymond, actually. I know that I said two key ball handlers with Steph and KD, but I think Draymond's just the ultimate X factor.
Well, and also Clint Capella, how's he going to factor into the series? Because he's got to factor in somehow.
That's my X factor. Thanks for bringing it up,
I think
Ricky.
Clint just does Clint things. I don't really worry
But
about
the
him.
thing is,
He's got to block shots.
I think the thing that's going to be big for him is you look at what he did in 3 games against Golden State, and obviously different because one of them he wasn't playing with James Harden. 15 points in those 3 games, 6.3 rebounds for Clint Capella, 110 offensive rating, 110 defensive rating. Only had 3 blocks throughout those whole games. Shot 62.5% from the field. It's going to be big for Clint to at least beat up the Warriors inside, whether that be Draymond, whether that be Zaza. If he's not on his game, then that's going to help them focus in more on James Harden and CP3. So
I think they're going to see a lot of small ball PJ out there at the 5. I think Clint's going to have limited minutes if he gets exposed.
Well, do you think it should be limited? So just if he's exposed?
Yeah, I think the Rockets are going to have to default back to that game plan during the series.
Well, I think it's something where, again, Clint might be used. Like, it's going to be a situation maybe with Ben Simmons, but they're not actually going to force him back in. If he's on, they're going to keep him in. If he's off, they're going to take him off. But I don't think it's going to be something where if he's off for one game, they're going to keep him out for the majority of the next game. I think they're going to keep going back to it again because, again, Clint's better than Zaza. And he's better than pretty much any 5 that they're going to put out there. He has the height over Draymond.
Yeah, if they can force it like they did early, and I don't want to go all the way back to this, but the early Jordan days, when to start off every series, Jordan was basically told, you have to spoon feed your low post. You have to go down low. You have to feed the big man. Set the tone, set the pace. And if the Clippers, Jesus, if Chris Paul can do this with Clint Capella, then yes, it forces the Warriors to play around Clint Capella. If not, Clint Capella then becomes a liability.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think that's the biggest thing. If he's able to come out and have a game like he did on June 20th, where he scores 18 points, 7 to 12 from the field, he's efficient. He was always efficient. He shot above 60%
He's on the
every
MVP
single
watch
game.
half the year.
No, I'm saying just against Golden State. Again, if he's able to be efficient, I think that's going to be something big for them because they don't have an answer for them, at least at that 5. Maybe Jordan Bell is possibly that answer, but again, Clint Capella still has the experience. He's also bigger than Jordan Bell. So I think it's going to be the biggest X factor for them. The way Houston wins, I think it's just strictly about how quick they play. If they're able to push that tempo, push the pace and get Golden State tired and then force them to pull out Jordan Bell, if Quinn Cook, any of these guys, like if they're able to pull out any of these guys off the bench, I think that's going to be the biggest thing is trying to attack that lower post. Kevin Looney as well. If they're able to, go into the deep reserves, that's going to be huge for Houston. I think Golden State, it's strictly win game 1. If you win game 1, you're winning this series. If you lose game 1, then it's up in the air. Let's go to predictions now. We got about 3 minutes before the camera shuts off. Ricky, who will win and in how many games?
Mine's going to be easy, and I'm actually going to throw in that point that you wouldn't let me talk about earlier because it fits in here.
Yeah.
I feel like this is for the Warriors, although they didn't play the Rockets last year in the playoffs. This is going to be like the 98 finals with the Bulls and Jazz because for the first time, like I mentioned, they don't have home court. Just like with the Bulls. Yeah, we beat the Jazz in 97, but we had home court. We don't have it in 98. So
did you just watch real quick? Did you watch that
yes, I did.
Rewind with?
Yes, I did.
That was pretty good from SB Nation.
I've got a video idea after rewatching that game so I'm gonna come out with a video sometime about MJ based off that game.
Well, it was still a pretty good video.
It was great. And it sparked an idea in my head. How I think the series goes down: Warriors win game 1, Rockets win game 2, 3 and 4 go to the Warriors. Rockets win the 5th. Warriors seal it in 6. So it'll be Warriors in 6.
Warriors in 6. David.
Warriors in 6.
That's it?
I'm not getting fancy going to game. You asked for numbers, I give you numbers. It would be great if it went to 7, but I just don't see it going to 7. I mean, after one game, I mean, it'll probably change. But right now, I'm feeling the way I've watched the Warriors run through that second round with a healthier Steph, and now he has days to rest and come back even healthier. Terrified.
What do you think is going to be? So, do you think the Warriors are going to, like, their wins are going to be big, or do you think the Rockets, like, wins are going to be, like, what do you think is more likely?
Defense probably won't be played too much. These games are going to be about 115 to 109.
If there's any defense, it'll be more so on the
But do you
Warriors
think
side,
do you think it's going to be something where Golden State wins big and then the losses are close, kind of like we saw against LeBron?
Yeah.
So
I mean, to be fair, the Rockets are a better defensive team statistically.
But will they play defense the entire time? That's what
we'll have to see.
Yeah,
and it's going to be interesting to see how the 4 key guys for Golden State does
just
hold
say the
up
5.
over the
The Hamptons 5. You know you want to.
Okay. Well, the Hampton
I
5.
say half the defense, double the offense.
It's going to be interesting to see how they were really able to keep up the pace. I'm going to go Warriors in 7. I think Houston wins game 1. Warriors take game 2. Warriors win
3.
Win 3 and 4. Houston wins 5 and 6, and then Warriors close it out.
Over under flops for James Harden at 10.
They haven't fined anyone since like 2015 for flops. So,
but you know who he's playing against.
Yeah,
Over.
I think it's gonna. What did you say? 10?
I said 10.
Over by far.
I say under.
Under. All right.
I mean, there's no flopping stats on
any back
Basketball
jumps?
Reference.
He's the flop king.
Any back jumps in the series?
Michael Carter-Williams is not on the team, so no.
King of the flop.
Any final thoughts on Rockets versus Warriors?
No, not really.
I hope this series lives up to everything I hoped for at the beginning of the year, because I thought this was going to be like, we are going to duel it out. It's going to be like 130 to 135. It's going to be great.
If anything, Boston and Philly proved is that even though it was a 5-game series,
oh my God, I loved it.
If it's a 5-game series, you can still have amazing basketball. So that's the one thing. As long as it's amazing basketball, it doesn't matter. And let us know your thoughts on the Western Conference Finals down in the comments below. Who do you got and why? How many games? Let us know.